There we go. We are live. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Zero Hour. At least it's telling me we're live, so that's what we're going with. Here with the usual suspects, Rural 2IC, Mark, half-ass ready, and our special guest tonight is Jesse from Gen X. Gen X Thinks. So, Jesse, introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and where they can find you.
My name is Jesse, and I'm the host of Gen X Thinks, and it's easy to find Gen X Thinks on YouTube. I've got a playlist called the Gen X Apocalypse, where I talk about different apocalyptic scenarios and how they might unfold, and the best way to be prepared for each one and whatnot like that. I'm a handyman in Florida. I just like talking shit and having fun with my fellow Gen Xers and, getting ready for the apocalypse.
Yep, that's what we do here pretty much. So, Rural, introduce yourself in case there's some people here that don't know you.
Well, I'm part of that group. I'm not sure I know myself, but I am Rural. I am a YouTube influencer right here, and I do pretty much 7 days a week. We do a live stream on Wednesday, and then I get to have fun here with these great guys here on Sunday. So
awesome. And I'm all discombobulated. Mark's down here. Mark, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Mark, and I'm half-ass ready. I'm a half-ass prepper, and I'm a half-ass YouTuber, and I do a lot of things half-ass. But you know what? I have a good time while I'm doing them, and I do a few handyman videos myself. I'm not really a handyman, but I play one on YouTube. So,
yep, and I've checked them videos out. They're pretty good. So you guys,
I got to get back after it.
Mark's videos, and of course, I'm Ohio Valley Prepping, and we do prepping survival and try to give everybody a good laugh every now and then because we think you need it. So. Good to see everybody. There's Granny. How you doing, Granny? And Billy.
Hey, Granny.
Little lone prepper. Aldo, how you been? So, we are ready for some questions from the chat. Rita said she don't think you're ready.
She says she don't think I'm half ready. So,
yeah.
And she could be wrong on either side of that.
Well, yeah, you never know.
There you go.
I mean, you can only do so much, I'm not sure any of us are ready. We do what we can, but
I'd rather be half ready than not ready at all.
There you go, buddy.
Exactly.
Better to have a plan than no plan at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree.
Yes.
I see some of Jesse's folks has come on in.
Yeah, I'm looking at that. I see that on the chat.
Oh, that's cool.
Button. There we go.
Mike, hey, Mike. How's it going, buddy? Glad to see you here.
Yeah, welcome in, everybody. If you got any questions for Jesse or anybody on the panel, go ahead and fire away. We will do what we can to answer.
Make sure and hit that subscribe button, Gen X Thinkers.
Big Country said you got to have a little fun in the apocalypse. That's true.
Oh, yeah. That's what Gen X does.
Yeah.
Here, Katrinka's got a question. She says, what if your spouse is not on board? I'm assuming she means with like prepping and things like that.
Yeah.
So we'll let Rural start off on this one. What do you think, Rural?
That's a really good one because I get this question a lot, and it's difficult because you've made that lifelong commitment, right? Death do us part, and it's not death do us part unless you're not prepping with me. So, you can only do what you can do. It should not be a thing that comes between you and him or her, but you should do what you can and try and involve them, right? Something as simple as going out for a nature hike or doing various little scavenger hunts and things. Things can be fun, but they can still be prepping related, and just wait until you get that opportunity, right? The power goes out, something happens, and then you get to go, hey, guess what I have?
There you go.
Yep, sounds about right. Mark, what do you think?
Well, I'd say get a new spouse, but no, I'm just kidding, y'all. No, it is. I'm sure that's a very tough situation to find yourself in. Sometimes I have a hard time keeping up with my wife. she when the switch flipped, buddy, she got motivated, and again, I have a hard time keeping up with her sometimes, but no, I'm sure that's a tough situation to be in. I don't know how you motivate someone to get involved in that, but hang around. There will be a natural disaster in your area coming soon, and then they will appreciate what you have done. I can say that.
Yeah, that's probably about right. I agree. I don't really know how to answer that question either, because I never had that problem. You know, my wife she's probably more of the prepper than I am. Like I said, I'm more of the outdoors survivalist kind of guy, and she's the one who, you know, buys the freeze-dried food and stocks the water and does all the stuff like that. So I never really had that problem. Jesse, you got any thoughts on that?
Well, I'm sort of lucky in that respect, because though my wife isn't totally on board with it, we live in Florida, and the chances of seeing a hurricane are decent. You know, the power could go out for a couple of weeks. That's something we can just expect. So she's not, she doesn't give me a lot of static on it, even though she's not fully on board. So she's kind of middle ground there. And but the worst guff I get is, we don't have enough room in the pantry for more beans. We got enough dried beans already and stuff like that. But, you just got to do what you got to do. And you can't push it so far that, that you end your marriage or whatever, but you still have to do enough prepping to satisfy yourself. You know what I mean? Like was mentioned earlier, half-ass is better than nothing.
Right.
And that's basically my philosophy on the whole thing. You do everything you can within your constraints, whether it be relationship constraints, financial constraints, or whatever they are. Just do all you can and do your best.
Sounds about right. I agree. Here's a good question. Come from rural. What age group is the most prepared, and what age group is screwed? Well, I'll start off with that. That's a good question, actually. I'm going to have to say that the Gen X age group, or anybody that's pretty close to there anyway, is, I'm sure, by far the most prepared. And the younger generation, when you get down into the people that are in there probably under 45 or under 40 anyway, they're in big trouble. I mean, if you can't DoorDash your food, you don't eat. So, I mean, they're not going to last 3 days, in my opinion, anyway. So what do you think about that one, Jesse? We'll go backwards.
Yeah, it's about, in my mind anyway, it's about convenience. Those who rely more on convenience and are just, try to get everything as conveniently as possible, they're in trouble, whether it be older generation, younger generation. And I just see Gen X, our age group, as people that don't mind, pushing a couple extra buttons or taking a couple extra steps. And that's going to mean a lot when it comes down to it. We're not afraid of a little inconvenience to get shit done. And it boils down to that. Everybody who's afraid of a little inconvenience is shit out of luck. Going to have a hard time of it.
Yep, I agree. Mark, what do you think?
Well, I think it's easier to be prepared when you're more established. I think older folks may have deeper pockets than younger folks, but also I feel like older folks are more prepared, are more knowing they need to prepare. When you're 25, you're bulletproof and you're never going to die. And then there's just this group of people that transcends all age groups that are just firm believers that somebody else is going to come help them out when they get their ass hung in the fence, right? So, again, I just think, I'd say Gen X, baby boomers, because they can afford to be more prepared, I think.
Not only that, but we kind of grew up with parents and grandparents that was normal for them, canning and things like that wasn't considered prepping. It was just everyday life. To where now it's considered prepping, So, Rural, what do you think?
Yeah, I was kind of doing the way technology has come through. It's supposed to be that kind of equalizer. but it kind of seems to be the equalizer in the underprepared as well. I see a lot more older people that are relying on Uber and Uber Eats and the internet and everything else. And I think, kind of like what somebody said there in the chat, the younger people are definitely going to have the advantage physically, and the older people are going to have more of the knowledge and maybe material advantage. So it's definitely going to be interesting to see if anything is a pair up, maybe grandchildren to grandparents sort of a thing.
Yeah.
Yep, I agree. But yeah, I know I got, one of my kids, if it don't get delivered, he don't eat it, so that poor boy ain't gonna last a week, I swear. But
MS Coast had a good one up there.
Oh, did I miss it?
Yeah.
I hate it when I miss it. Let's see. Let me get back up through here and see if I can find it. Well, if I can hit the button.
Did you find it?
Oh, yeah, here we go. I found it.
There we go.
All right. It says, what is your bug in versus bug out moment? Who wants to take this one first? No, Mark, go ahead.
Oh, yeah,
You're
okay,
up.
I'll take it.
You got volunteered.
They're all bug in moments for me. I guess a bug out moment would be losing my prepared location. So, say forest fire, mudslide, house fire, something of that nature. And we are prepared for a bug out, right? Not a shit hit the fan bug out, right? We're prepared for maybe a week, heading out. But no, I mean, all my whole contingencies on bug in, and of course the mag is coming here too. So it's we're bug in folks, but again, bug out. If something happens, and everyone needs to be prepared for bug out, because something could happen to your prepared defensive location, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I agree. Jesse, what do you think? Are you bugging out time along if you have to, or?
My personal philosophy on the thing is my number one goal, the thing I work at all the time or think about, is bugging out. Bugging in. I'm bugging in now. You know what I'm saying? That just be a continuation of what I'm doing. I try to do everything that I would want to do after that. I'm trying to do it now. So if that nothing's going to change, I'm still trying to grow some food and just so I'm just focused on bugging out. And that thing about if something's coming that you don't know about, well, you're not going to see it coming. So bugging out in my mind, has got to be the priority, no matter, especially if you have a disability or something. Maybe you just physically cannot, but if you can somehow with a disability or something hampers you from bugging out, really fast, just on foot, that's got to be your main plan in my estimation, in my mind. That should be the main plan. And then if that doesn't come to fruition and you don't have to bug out, well, hell, everything's good, So I'm a worst case scenario guy, basically.
Right.
Yeah, prepare for the worst and hope for the best. Roy, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm kind of a mix. I do have a few bug out locations, kind of like somebody said there in chat. If you don't have anywhere to go and you are forced to leave, you're just a refugee. You're just wandering around aimlessly. Yeah. And I kind of like what Jesse was saying there. You're already bugging in, right? Every day you get up and go to bed, you are practicing bugging in. And for those people that they have it as their main plan is to bug out, practice it. Seriously, pick the most inconvenient time, pack all of your gear, and go practice bugging out. And tell me in a week or two if that is your main plan.
Yep. Yeah, same thing here. The only way I'm bugging out is if I absolutely cannot stay. If the town's burning down or something and you got to go. But other than that, I don't plan on going anywhere. I mean, and I'm not in now. See, Jesse's down in Florida, so they get hurricanes and stuff, things that you have to get out for. We don't get anything like that here.
Well, another thing is that just the air conditioning going out for more than a week, that's a bug out situation in Florida.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, you're not bugging out unless I
You
tell
got
you.
to get mobile.
I'm taking you with me. So, but yeah, I mean, we don't have the natural disasters that they have in other parts of the country. Now, something could happen. I mean, look, Mark didn't think that they were going to have a hurricane go through down there in North Carolina either. Not that far inland, and so something can always happen. So there is a plan, but I don't really plan on using that plan. Hopefully, I never have to.
Right.
So Katrinka wants to know, if you're only prepared to bug in, what do you suggest? Well, again, I think a lot of it comes down to where you're at. If you're in a natural disaster prone area, you need a bug out plan. If you're not, well, then focus on stocking what you need and being able to secure your location so that you can stay there. That's my opinion. What do you think, Earl?
Yeah, I think everybody needs a bug out plan. You talked about it where you get natural disasters where they don't often happen. I think the people of East Palestine, they weren't planning on a train accident. I think just about every single person, you have a airplane or a helicopter or something flying over you. You're not in a flight restricted zone. You're probably not planning on a plane crash. And if it does, they may knock on your door and go, you need to leave. And so to have that plan, it's probably a good idea.
Yep, I agree. What do you think, Mark?
Well, do what you're doing. Bugging in. If you're a prepper and you just keep doing what you're doing, double down maybe on some of the stuff you're doing. You got to have some sort of a bug out plan. And I realize having an invalid spouse, having a handicapped spouse, maybe bugging out is to the end of the driveway, right? Have a plan if that's as far as you've got to go to be safe and get help coming. So, I'm strictly a bug in guy. If I'm bugging out, man, it's bad. So I think just keep doing what you're doing, and I think you'll be fine. Doing what we've been talking about forever.
Yeah, if you're planning on bugging in, you're usually pretty secure where you're at. I mean, look at Mark had a hurricane and that come through and flooded the whole place, and you still didn't go anywhere, right?
No, I couldn't go anywhere.
Well, yeah, that's true.
No. I mean, honestly, we couldn't go anywhere, but and even thank God, even here, we had folks who had trees in there, my son being one of them. We had people with trees in their house, but they still could bug in. They just had to bug in a corner, right?
Yeah.
And just to stay dry till they could get help, right? And look, help was several weeks away for some folks. It was at least a week. But Grace, I don't want badger. I've watched too many videos about badger, and no, you can. Any of the other guys who want badger, when shit hits the fan, they can have badger. I love watching them, but I'm glad you have to deal with the destruction.
Badger's worse than having a dog, I swear.
Badger's pretty hardcore on equipment, man.
Yeah. Jesse, what do you think? If you had to bug in, what do you think? What do you think you would suggest?
You asking me?
Yeah.
Oh, if I had to bug in?
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I would just try to shore things up, I mean, the thing is that we just don't know what the situation will be, how long it will last. If you're just going to bug in, then in my opinion, then you need to have a replenishable supply of food. You've got to be gardening and doing these things because you don't know. Okay, if you got a couple months food in your pantry stocked up, it's going to run out. So you've got to be able to hunt, fish, farm, garden, you've got to be able to resupply yourself as a bug. If you're not bugging out where you can go, on the move and looking for these things, then you've got to be able to resupply them at home.
Yep.
100%, because it does no good bugging in if you can starve to death at home just as well as you can on the road. So you've got to have that. That's got to be something that whatever the situation could last for years, literally. So you've got to be able to eat for years on the property that you're on and drink fresh water. And, so you've got to think long term. If you're just not going to bug out at all, then you've got to be thinking long term more than, months, I would say.
I agree. Granny said that at one point after a hurricane, she was out of electricity for 2 months. How long were you guys out down there, Mark?
We were out 15 days here, but there were people here who were without for a couple of months. Yes.
Yeah.
But
that's kind of tough. What they say
15 days here at my place.
Yeah. Now see, we're kind of ready for something like that. I think most of us are. But your average person, that'd be pretty devastating for them,
Yeah, it was. There were people full on panicking. Gasoline caused the worst problems because even folks who had a generator had enough gas to keep it running for one power outage, for a couple of days, right? So when they ran out of gas completely, then the situation got serious. People were getting shot at gas stations and lots of fights and whatnot. But again, things got hairy even for us here with gasoline. I had enough to make it through, but I will be able to go more than 15 days next time without panicking about gasoline. Of course, I've done some other things too, and we've talked about those ad nauseum. And but we picked up solar generators to supplement, blah blah blah. But it got so. Again, if you're bugging in and electricity is a necessity for you, you need to make sure you're preparing with enough fuel to operate your power source, whatever it may be.
Yeah, and it's not going to be indefinite.
Well, they were giving out generators. The fire department, there were several people that were driving up in these haulers and giving people a generator. Well, shit, they couldn't do anything with it. They could run it for the tank of gas that they brought with it. But after that, they would have to hike out miles because the roads were all gone and to get gas. And then the gas stations were closed. And if they weren't closed, you had to have cash. So, great idea, Shannon. In fact, stay tuned to Half-Ass Ready. When I do my handyman video on small engine repair, at that point, I'm converting my big gas generator to run on propane and gasoline. I bought a carburetor kit that bolts right on, and we're going to – so stay tuned for that video. I'm definitely going to do that video. But, we're going to test it and see how it works and everything.
Yeah, and one of the reasons you might want to go with solar over a natural gas is just noise. If things are going completely sideways, you don't want to draw any attention. Is maybe one reason you may want to go with something other than natural gas. But natural gas isn't a bad option. It's just going to be louder than something like a solar generator or something. That's all.
Yeah.
So, Rural wanted to know at what point during an SHTF would most people be in trouble. I'd say it's going to, it kind of depends on where you're at. The big cities, people don't seem to have the stuff on hand. So it's probably going to go sideways within hours. They're going to start moving and everything else. The smaller towns like mine, most people around here still can. And, they make their bi-weekly grocery trips. So they have, even if they're not prepping, they have some food in the house. So it would probably take a couple of weeks before things started to get ugly around here. So it's kind of going to depend on, in my opinion, if you're in a big city or rural area. of how long that's going to take before people start getting desperate. What do you think, Jesse?
Yeah, exactly. Just common sense to tell you, the further you can get from a high density population, the more lead time you're going to have. Eventually, those people are going to flood out into the smaller towns and stuff, and people will be in small towns will be defending themselves from all these millions of people leaving the dense urban centers. So yeah, it just depends on where you're at, and the mindset of the people around you. Even some small towns, just they're not like a prepper mindset, or a real community mindset. They're just a group of people, and they're kind of the same way. But yeah, just the lower the population, the better off you are. To a cabin in the woods by yourself, 1,000 miles from nowhere would be the safest place to be, and you'd have the most amount of time.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, the more people, the more bad things can happen. Mark, what do you think?
Well, look, even in your small towns, and even in small towns, there's a big ass housing development quarter mile away from me, right? Those people were not prepared.
Yeah.
But listen, I wish Merriman Press was here, because I'm going to try to paraphrase him. He went in 2017. He went to all three of the big hurricanes, and then he was here for Helene. And he maintains that you got 72 hours. You got 3 days before, and no matter what town you're in. Okay, you got 3 days before the unprepared, the addicted, or the stupid start trying to take over the streets. Their panic has overwhelmed their sanity, and at that point, they're taking over streets. And I knew that going into Helene, and then I witnessed it. The young man definitely was spot on his estimate of 72 hours. At 72 hours is when the zaniness starts.
Okay, and that's good information because Mark went through it. So, Rural, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm going to agree. I think you've probably got that 24 to 48 hours. 24, probably people are just waiting for it. Probably 48 hour, you probably have some street parties, block parties. People are just out there having a good time because there's nothing else to do. Let's go ahead and cook the stuff up in the freezer. I think once you get past into that day 3, day 4, you start having more of the shenanigans. It's that crime of opportunity. And then anything beyond that, I think you're going to start having gang wars and street turf wars and things like that. The big thing, though, is if people are smart, they're going to realize that going from city to city is not a good idea. Because if you live in a major city, million plus, and you go, oh, there's that one that's, an hour south of me. Guess what? There's people there and they're using up those resources. So good luck.
Yeah.
I don't have a diesel generator, but Mike wants to know, is it safe to store diesel in a 55-gallon drum in the shed?
Yep. Diesel's a very stable fuel, Mike. It's very stable. Kerosene, diesel. Make sure you keep the moisture out of it.
Yep.
And even on your transfer pump, if you can put a moisture water filter on there, water trap, your diesel fuel is a very stable fuel. So yes, you can store diesel fuel for a long time.
Yes. The water treatment and the algicide and stuff like that's very cheap. It's very easy to do.
And Grace wants to know, what is your long-term food plan for your animals or your pets? Well, we have pets, and we have some kitties, and of course, you guys have seen the dogs. And we buy in bulk. I mean, I got enough dog food in here and cat food that we wouldn't have to go get any for months. So we always keep some on hand, and of course, they can eat meat and things like that, so they can share with you. But yeah, it's definitely a good idea to have extra food on hand for your animals. That's one thing I think a lot of people forget. Rural, what do you think?
For those of you that don't know, it's going to depend. If it is spring or summer, I can try and take my pets with me. If it is late fall to winter, don't count me as heartless, but I have bearded dragons and a scorpion and other things that's not going to make it. Okay. They don't take canned wet food or things like that. They do some things that, I could for a small period of time, but they still need heat and all sorts of stuff. So I'm going with that question's probably for dogs, kitties, and farm animals. So
Yeah, I agree. Mark?
Oh yeah. We keep food. We only have the one pet though. Oh my gosh. Yeah, that would be a goner down here. Can you eat those things, Rural? What do they taste like? Yeah. So, but I always tease my son's girlfriend about Maggie being my apocalypse dog because I like to keep her good and fat, so I might eat her. But I would never eat my dog. But but we prep for. But we don't have a lot of animals. If I had animals, they would not be pets. Okay, they would be food animals. Right? If I was raising rabbits, they would be edible rabbits. Chickens would be edible chickens. Cows would be edible cows. I don't tie bells on them and give them names. They're New York strip and bacon. That's what I would name my animals, right?
Grace said earlier that badger's not on the menu. But so Jesse,
that wouldn't work for me.
Jesse, do you prep for your animals?
Yeah, try to store up as much food as possible for them. But we have dogs. Dogs are omnivores. They can eat sweet potatoes and everything that we eat. So dogs are easy. Cats might be even easier because a cat will fend for itself a lot easier than a dog. A cat will go out and eat lizards and mice and whatever, you know what I mean? So a cat, you really don't have to worry about a cat as much as you would a dog. But a dog can eat, everything you grow in the garden and survive. They might not like it as much, but hell, it's, shit hits the fan scenario. Dogs gotta get it how they live too. So, eat some green beans or go hungry. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. And we keep medical supplies on hand for our animals and that. My wife was
got a house full of that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, my wife was a vet tech, so we can do a lot of the doctoring ourselves. So that helps. If you plan on taking your pets and plan on saving your pets, you should probably learn how to treat them if they get sick or injured.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also strategic too. There's a lot of people that I watch that they have fish. Well, the fish water's great for your garden. Everything that I have, we dust a lot of their stuff with calcium and bone powder and different things. Guess what? It's great for the garden. I buy it for everything.
Trying to talk my dog into coming in, but I think she's asleep. So some of these guys were saying they make their own dog food. Yeah, if you can do that, that's great. I mean, that's awesome. And like Jesse was saying, dogs are easier because they'll eat pretty much anything. So, and like he was saying that, cats will fend for themselves for the most part. I mean, not all of them, but they'll figure it out.
Just so you cat people know, if you die, your cat will eat you. I just
y'all
know. I'm not an anti-cat person. I'm just telling you.
I never
die, your cat will eat you.
I forgot to feed him a couple of times, and they were looking at me like, you're on the menu. So yep. They will not think twice about it.
Oh no.
Oh no.
So, has anybody got any other questions? Did I miss anything? I might have missed some stuff.
When are one of y'all going to get Shawnee Groves on the show? She always puts the best stuff out while we're talking. We have got to get her on the show. Shawnee, you have to come on the show.
Email one of us.
Yes.
Please.
What did Aldo say? Eat the bone and can't you?
Aldo said to eat the fish bones too.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yes.
Blackbird said a rooster would be dinner almost immediately. That's funny.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if I could think about, everybody keeps saying like, oh, you got to black out your windows and you can't cook food and all this stuff. You have a rooster, and that is like the ultimate calling card of please come eat me.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it spends half its day screaming. So yeah.
Oh, we got them talking about food now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing we learned in the military. I don't know how many of y'all are veterans on the panel here, but noise and light discipline, we called it, keeping silent so the enemy doesn't know. And in a shit hits the fan scenario, you want to make as little noise as possible, like the solar generator and crowing chickens. That's I mean, you got to keep one to breed, I guess, but in a urban setting somewhere, that's just a dinner bell for all the people around you.
Yeah.
Well, you tie him up at night. You tie his beak shut, and then after morning's done, then you untie him and let him eat and do his thing, and then just
yeah. You could probably make a pretty good living being a rooster beak tire because I'm
Yeah. We have it, though.
That is my apocalypse job.
There you go.
Yeah. Did y'all hear about the new Ice Age coming?
Mm.
Oh yeah, Ice Age is coming. It's mainstream media.
Live stream, actually.
Yeah, we were talking about on my live stream. We were talking about being woolly mammoth trainers and shit.
Damn.
Why not? I heard they're good to eat. I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they must be. I mean,
J.S. Badger says no one will not cook. Well, see, here's the thing about cooking is you're going to draw attention. It depends on how bad things are. Now, if you got some freeze-dried food, all you have to do is boil some water, and it doesn't, you're not giving off a bunch of like food odor that people are going to go, hey, them guys are cooking, meat or whatever. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, you're right to a point. Nobody's going to not eat cooked food anymore. But it just depends on how bad things get, whether you're going to be cooking meat out on the grill or just dumping some hot water in a Mylar bag to try to keep the predators away. So Ice Age, Rabbit said the Ice Age has been coming since 1970.
Very true.
Yeah.
Which here's a side question. So if you have to cook and you know that there's people that is around, you don't have freeze dried, right? You have some sort of meat that you have got. You've got a fish, a squirrel, whatever, and you've got to cook it. How do you cook it?
Underground.
yeah, dig a Dakota hole, maybe.
Dakota hole.
Smoke it.
Yeah.
Boil it.
That's
Maybe boiling would be, I mean, maybe it's not the most tasty way to eat anything, but it would probably keep the
keep you alive.
Factory process lower.
Do it in the wee hours in the morning when nobody else is running around. You don't want to do it, when everybody's up and around. Do it at 2:00 in the morning, then eat it throughout the day or something like that.
Yeah.
Just try to think about keeping, as few people aware of what you're doing as possible.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Yep. Exactly. Somebody said something about eating armadillos. I've never ate an armadillo. They don't look like they taste real good. I don't know. But
down here in Florida, I've heard a lot of people claim they've eaten them, but I never have. I've eaten a lot of shit, but
I've seen them alongside the road driving through Texas, but
possum only half shell.
Yeah,
half shell.
And we do have possums up here, and I don't really want to try to eat one of them either. I mean, I suppose if I was starving to death, I would probably.
Yeah, that's going to go back to that question. How hungry are you?
Right.
Yeah.
But I'm not. It's not high up on my to-do list. How's that?
No. No.
Well, apparently we have them here in Western North Carolina now. I haven't seen one yet, but we have them, they say.
But see, that's why you prep, so you don't have to eat possums and armadillos, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of the reason behind it is so you.
Well, again,
going, I got to eat something if it moves its food.
You know, we've talked about it. I mean, there's folks whose plan is to hunt or fish their way through the shit hit the fan event. And so every time you fire that 22, 12 gauge 30-06, you just announce to everybody that you have ammunition and you possibly may have food now.
Right.
But like we've talked about the book 1 Second After, you see how far those people had to start ranging from home. If you have 100 people in your 10-acre neighborhood or 15-acre neighborhood, it won't take 100 people long at all to hunt or fish out your neighborhood. So you're going to have to continue to expand yourself. Hey, buddy, you're going to have to continue to expand out from where you're standing to maintain that plan. I'm not saying it can't be done. It's just something you need to prep for if that's your plan.
But it's going to be, it's not going to be as easy as everybody thinks. They think they're going to go out and shoot a deer or something and, cut a big steak off and bring it home and shit. Well, those 100 people out there in that 10 acres, they're going to be out there shooting each other more than they're shooting deer. Anything that moves, they're going to just blast away at because they're not hunters. They're not, most of these people are just have a gun sitting there in a cabinet and they've never, might have taken it to the range a time or two and they're going to go hunt. And they consider themselves preppers, and they're going to go running around out there shooting each other. And 50 of them are going to come back. Out of the 100, 50 of them are going to come back, and not one of them is going to have anything to eat. Yep. So yeah, that's the kind of stuff people don't think about. It's going to be dangerous as hell to go hunting right after a shit hits the fan scenario.
Yep.
You're going to want to range, 50 miles out away from everything before you're going to feel safe without, getting shot at by some nitwit who just sees some bushes rustling or whatever. So it's going to be dangerous as hell.
Yeah. And Robin's right that the white.
Oh yeah, he's 100% correct.
Yeah. And you know what? That's a really good point, Jesse. I used to do a lot of bass fishing, and I made the mistake once of going out to the lake because it got warm about this time of year, and it was gun season. It was the first day of gun season. And you can tell if you go out in the public lands, the hunters and the people that came down from the big cities, they go out in the woods once a year.
Yeah.
This was before they put the limit on how many slugs you could have in your rifle and things like that. But you'd hear one shot over here and one shot over here, and then somebody over here to unload every slug they had, boom, 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 and you can tell you're like they have no idea what they're doing. And so, yeah, the people that are going to be out in the woods that have no idea what they're doing is going to be crazy. And in 2 weeks, there won't be a deer on Earth. So, yeah. And the population probably be a lot lower too.
Yeah. Yeah. Imagine that scenario you just described there times 100 or 1,000 with, just the hunting laws, restrictions, game wardens, they're trying to survive too. There are no more laws or restrictions. You just go out and shoot shit. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a war zone for food. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, to piggyback off that, you got all.
And then if you do bag a deer and you're sitting there gutting it, and 3 people walk into the clearing and see you there, what are they going to do? Oh, my family's hungry, but I'm going to leave this guy alone because I have honor and I have integrity, so I'm going to walk away. They're probably going to plug you, you know what I'm saying, and take your damn deer. It's not going to be a pretty thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and I mean, to go along with that, how many of those people has that shotgun that they've never used, they're probably not a very good shot. Even if they hit it, they probably don't know how to track it. And even if they get lucky and they get it down, they probably don't know how to process it or gut it.
Yeah.
So now you're taking home tainted meat or disgusting meat.
Yep. You're getting ready to make everybody in your family sick.
You probably don't know how to cook it. You don't know how to check for buckshot and everything else. And now you got dental problems and who knows what else.
Yeah.
Yeah. It would be bad
and
for many reasons that aren't immediately obvious.
Yeah. And that's just another reason that I think if you got 6 months worth of stuff supplied to where you don't have to go out, by the end of that 6 month, months, the population is going to be drastically lower.
Yes.
And resupplying is not going to be near as hard as you think. You know?
Yeah.
We're not going to be out there, battling 370 million people. There's going to be about 3 million left, So.
Yeah. And that's the point of prepping, to survive that long.
Yeah.
To survive until, and then the rebuilding afterwards. That's the whole
Right.
point of prepping. We don't want to be out there, shooting Lord knows what at, and defending ourselves and shit out there in the woods from all these idiots and stuff. That's the whole reason for prepping. So you don't have to do that. You don't have to put yourselves and your families in danger in that situation.
Yeah.
Yep. Granny says after 6 months, you should have your garden going. Well,
Well,
that's
there
true.
you go, Granny.
Yeah, you can't argue with that logic. Yeah.
There you go. Sustainable prepping. That's what we talk
Yeah.
about all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I seen Hudson Valley was out hunting today. I think gun season here is next week.
Yeah, more deer are poached with a 22 than any other rifle. Yeah, that was my dad. He would just stop the car and shoot a deer in a field. That's how I grew up. I'm not a poacher or anything, but that's how my dad was. He was, yeah.
Yeah.
So I've seen many deer killed with a 22 when I was a kid.
Yeah. Here, if you hit it with your car, you can take it home.
Mhm.
Oh, okay.
But of course, the meat's going to be all depending on where you hit it. But I have
Another
one.
thing, they make 30 caliber air rifles now.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're powerful enough. I don't own one. I've never shot one. I don't know how powerful they are, but they have to be a lot quieter than a gunpowder, a regular rifle, don't they?
They are, but it's just like a silence 22. See someone talking about a silence 22. When you start dropping the velocity on these projectiles, you are definitely lowering the size of the game and upping the chance that you're wounding an animal.
Yeah.
You're not killing an animal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more of the fan of take the 45-70, make sure it's down, and then do what I got to do to get it back to the house.
So it's not a good thing to take after deer or something. That's for rabbits and stuff like that.
Yeah, you're doing a small
Okay.
game, or I would think. I mean, because the velocity and the size of the projectile, but yes, bows and arrows, even crossbows. Look, if your life is going to depend on you hunting with a bow and arrow, every evening when you get home, you should be at the end of your driveway popping a bale of hay with that bow every day. And crossbows are difficult to shoot also, but they're no more difficult than a rifle. But if you own a rifle and you don't know how to use it, you then how the hell do you think you're going to know how to use a crossbow, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, so whatever you do, and even Crab Man, if it's taking them with your Ford, you need to practice that. You need to train on that, and especially if you're going to be a bow guy, if you're the bow guy, if you're an archer, believe me, that is a skill that takes years to master. It's easy to go out in your backyard and pop off, but it takes years to master that skill.
Mhm.
Yeah. I've seen MS Coast said the only reason they got a deer last year was their SUV.
Yeah. But, and I mean, I know, and there's a lot of guys on this channel, and me and the guys, we grew up hunting and fishing. And, we train on a weekly basis with both our hunting firearms and our self-defense firearms. It's important, but I'm just saying that hunting is an option, and you should take that option if you get the opportunity. But it's just, I just don't think it's viable for long-term survival. I am prepared to do that, but I'm going to do that on my way to a permanent. Yes, they do, Galadriel. I have, in fact, my ex-daughter-in-law embarrassed the shit out of me a few years ago, killed a shitload more deer than I did. And,
I seen STP out in the deer stand the other day. So
yeah, I can believe that.
yeah, she was out hunting away. So yeah, they absolutely do, Galadriel. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Which brings up the point, and this is kind of, I'll share a small part of my plan. Remember traps, snares, cages, because those are static hunting devices. You put those out, let the idiots hunt and chase them right to you.
Yep.
And then you just got to go out and do your thing. So make sure that you have that stuff.
Yeah, no, great suggestion, Earl.
Yes,
and know how to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
At least, and if you're not proficient in it, have a book. And not a like book stashed on your phone. I mean an actual book, something you can read.
Become proficient in that, because remember, if SHTF goes, so does medical care, and you can blow your finger off and you can get your finger snapped in a trap just as easy. So practice.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
DMC, I hope you're doing good. I know he's been through some back issues. I hope he's doing well.
Yeah, Muffin Top.
Yeah.
I haven't got on one of his live lately. I've been busy lately. I haven't had a chance to see all y'all. What are you pushing?
I just
Well,
did.
Well, his fingers do work.
Button
So.
anything?
Moves my mouse.
Oh,
Muffin Top said he's laid up currently. So
Yeah, I thought I seen that the other night on one of his lives, but I didn't get a chance to tune in. Well, I hope you do a lot better, Muffin Top.
yeah, fast recoveries.
But yeah, again, yeah, here in the mountains it's tough unless you trout fish here in the mountains, and it's tough. Trot lines and seining is illegal here in the mountains, but it's probably something you ought to familiarize yourself with.
Right.
Fish traps, these sorts of things. But the thing about where I'm at, the trout streams are so small and they're located where they're located that it's probably going to have to kill 4 or 5 people just to get your fishing hole back. I would think somebody would walk down the stream and just take anything you caught on a fish trap or a trot line or a seine. So, again, security, not just security around your fishing and hunting and your garden, security around where you gather water. If you're not able to gather water, you need to be very aware, watching your six, head on a swivel, situational awareness, all the things we talk about every time you bend down in that creek to get that 5-gallon bucket of water.
Yeah.
Because somebody at that point might rob you for your backpack.
Yeah, that's true. Jesse, do you do any hunting or fishing?
No, I have. I haven't recently the last few years because just been so busy with work and all that stuff. But I've done both. Yeah, I love to fish. Hunting, not so much. I grew up so poor that I had to hunt to survive, really, to put food on the table. And once you get past that point, you go out hunting and that edge is missing. You know what I mean? That there's a keen edge to it when it really matters, that you need to make that shot. And after that is gone, hunting kind of loses its I don't know, its luster a little bit. But I still fish whenever I can, especially here in Florida. I love to go out to the saltwater and fish out there.
Yeah,
a lot of
I like
fun.
to fish too, but I haven't had a lot of time the last couple of years.
Yeah, that's how I am.
Next year, I need to go out and do some more fishing. Yeah. Yep.
Well, if I have time for fishing, I'm going to go golfing, guys. I'm just saying.
I used to golf, but I haven't golfed in years. So, yeah, everybody should have a little bit of fishing gear. Just because yeah.
Oh, I agree. It should be part of your prep. In fact, you know, for years I used to make these little emergency fishing kits with a wine bottle cork and some hooks and stuff. But my son told me I need to make a video on those again, just because I've done them. There's one in every damn backpack in every vehicle of everybody I know. I gave them out for Christmas one year. But you just go buy the smallest roll of fishing line you can, and a piece of duct tape and a cork and hang some hooks in it, and a bobber is the cork. Just wrap a little duct tape around it, throw it in the back of your damn backpack. You can always cut a cane pole and make a fishing pole, right?
Absolutely.
But emergency fishing equipment is something everyone should have. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, hunting and fishing, in my opinion, should be your supplemental idea. You know what I mean? It should supplement what you're already doing. And, until, like we said, 6 months down the road, when your food supply starts running out or whatever. But to go into it, that's your prep, is just a shotgun, That's what your chances of making it that 6 months are slim to none.
Well, I'd like to know y'all's thoughts on this. I mean, we've talked about how much work there's going to be just gathering water, cooking food, keeping warm, blah, blah, blah. How big is your mag got to be, or what the hell do you got to do to find time to do the hunting and fishing thing, right?
Yeah.
You're going to have to probably delegate certain people that's going to have to cover that.
What if you don't have people, though? I mean, what if you don't? There are people who don't have people, right? There are people
who are really, really busy.
Yeah. Well, one day you're going to have to go out and just, carry enough water up to last you the rest of the week. And then like that. And then the end of the week, you go hunting, and hopefully that's the thing about hunting. Hopefully you bring something back. If you don't, and you're not already prepared, you don't have, bags of beans and some canned goods, and you're ready to can some stuff that's coming out of the garden. If you're not already prepared for that, and when it comes time, the water's gone now, and you go back to carrying water, and you don't, your hunting expeditions haven't turned up anything, then it's going to, the times will get bad quick.
Yeah. Yeah. If you waste a day or two hunting and don't get anything.
And that is
on gathering wood and gathering water and such and such and such. Yeah, you're going to be in trouble. Yeah, I agree.
And good hunters with trail cams and those tree stands and all kinds of technology and stuff, they'll go out there for a week and come back with nothing. Yeah. So, every bozo thinks they're going to go out there just wandering out there with a shotgun and a pair of, Air Jordans that, they're going to bring back a 200-pound deer, like bringing back a hamburger from McDonald's. They're living in la la land.
Yeah. And Galadriel's got a good point. You're going to burn a lot of calories doing all
that.
It's going to be hard to keep up. Yeah. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Well, we are about out of time, so we'll go through and do some closing thoughts. We'll start. I guess I'll start. We'll go around to Jesse. And guys, just keep doing what you're doing. I mean, things aren't getting any better. The chaos just seems to pop up and then something different every day. And so just keep prepping, keep planning, keep at it, and hopefully nothing happens. But you better be ready just in case. Earl, what do you got to say?
Well, I'm going to say that success and failure is a part of everyday life, whether it's before, during, or after SHTF. And if it's during, you're going to want to have a lot more success than failure. And in order to succeed, that desire for success has to be greater than the fear of failure. So make sure that you go through and you have that good reason. Make memories with those that you love.
Yep. Sounds good. Mark?
Tell the ones you love that you love them. We were talking about the panic after the storm. Remember the panic before the storm too. That thought hit me after we finished talking about it. But remember the snow forecast, and everybody's got to make milk sandwiches. Okay, so everybody has to go to the store and get bread and milk. So just remember the panic before the storm. So if you're a prepper, you want to be a prepper, then you start doing these things every week. Every time you go to the grocery store, you buy the extra stuff. You buy the batteries. We were talking backstage too. I'm going to get this out. We were talking backstage. Please, y'all, go and rattle your kerosene cans and your gas cans that you have. I thought I had kerosene, and I went out and rattled cans, and I had 3 empty cans that I remembered filling, but I didn't remember emptying. So, it's wintertime. Make sure your supplemental heat source is up to par. Burn off those kerosene heaters. Fire up those propane heaters. Make sure your chimney's clean on your wood stove. Have a great week.
Jesse, closing thoughts?
I just want to say hi to Big Country, Crab Man, Shannon, and Mike Fleisner was here. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, guys. I appreciate you coming to watch the show. And my final thoughts are that, and I did a video on my own here a week or so ago, you don't have to have all kinds of resources and money to start prepping. You can start on a budget.
Yep.
Anything is better than nothing. We're sitting here talking about, you need to can goods and all this shit, but a fishing pole is better than no fishing pole. If that's your prep, if that's all the money you have, it's better than nothing. A good knife and a good fishing pole, that's better than nothing. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid to start prepping because you don't have enough money. Some extra batteries, a couple cans of beans, a couple bags of beans set aside, a decent fishing pole, decent as you can afford, a decent knife, start, flint and steel. There's all kinds of stuff, all kinds of ways you can start getting ready and at least be ahead of the game. At least be ahead of everyone else around you, with a minimum amount of money spent. So, because most people aren't going to spend any at all.
Yeah. And I'll just add that guys, go out and learn some skills because that's going to be more important in the long run than anything that you stockpile. So,
agreed.
Guys, thanks everybody for stopping. Jesse, thanks for coming on. Hang out here with us afterwards. And,
no problem. I will.
We will see you all next week on Rural's channel, right?
Nope.
No, Mark's.
Yep.
Whose channel are we on next? Mark? Okay. Yeah, we will be on Mark's channel next week, and we will see you all there. Thanks for stopping by. Have a good night. Keep prepping. Head on a swivel, everybody.